Welcome to the CEO Holy Grail podcast, where we interview panels of corporate leaders, including CEOs and other top executives. We're your hosts, Asha Mankowska and Regina Bergman. Join us to learn top leadership principles, understand the challenges facing these leaders, and how to overcome them while generating more profitability in your business. And now, let's meet today's panelists. Good morning, everyone. I am thrilled to be here with you today. Good morning to my beautiful co-host, Dr. Asha Mankowska. How are you this morning?
Good morning, Regina. It's so amazing to be today with you and have our two phenomenal guests this morning.
And we are truly international this morning because Miss Asha is not in where she normally is. She is currently in Poland, and so it is not morning for her. But yes, we're grateful.
It's kind of afternoon, but my body is still functioning on the Pacific Standard Time.
So she's having challenges, folks. Awesome.
Well, let's pointing that
out. Let's meet our wonderful guests for today. So I am thrilled with our first guest. We met some time ago. We've carried on some communications over the years. He sends me wonderful gifts at holidays that I'm always excited to receive. He is just an awesome individual, and I truly have enjoyed every interaction we've ever had. Michael DeLon is the paperback expert, and he serves business experts and thought leaders to create their books without writing a word. He does so much more than that, though, folks. But Michael, welcome to the show. We're so glad to have you here today.
Regina, thank you. What a kind introduction. I'm so excited to be here and just looking forward to a great conversation.
Awesome. We are as well. And to the knowledge and experience that you will bring to this conversation. And our next guest, and then we'll have them each tell a bit more about themselves, but just to give you the highlight again, our next guest is Tom Ruwitch, and he is a storyteller. He is a business growth catalyst and a content marketing pioneer. Welcome, Tom. Great to have you here today.
Regina, thank you. Very happy to be here. And hello, Asha.
Awesome.
Hello.
Very good. So, Michael, take a moment. Tell us a little bit about your journey and about who you're serving and why, if you would, please.
Oh, wow. So my journey as an entrepreneur and running paperback expert started the day I escaped from prison. Now, it wasn't a literal prison, okay? It was an emotional prison because I was at a family ministry for a decade, helping build godly marriages and families. Thought I would hit nirvana, that I'd never leave, until that ministry started going through corporate reorganizations, and they shuffled me around the ministry doing a bunch of different things that just weren't a good fit. And so I was stuck in a 2-year prison at a ministry I loved, but I was in jobs that I hated. And so I finally prayed and asked God to get me out of there. And he said, Michael, what do you want to do? And I said, I want to go help business owners with marketing. Because my background, Regina, is in marketing, in Christian radio, and learning how to do marketing for small local business owners. That's where I cut my teeth years ago. And God said, go. And so I escaped from prison. on January 1st of 2013, became a free man. And I'd come out to like Tom, and I'd say, hey, Tom, I can help you grow your business. We'd have a great conversation. And he'd say, Michael, that sounds wonderful. Tell me, who else have you helped in the last few years? And I said, I've helped build marriages and families, Tom. And he'd say, Michael, that's honorable. Oh, look at the time. I've got another meeting, Michael. Can we reschedule? And he'd usher me right out the door. I was having trouble getting clients. And so I went to my church one day, I prayed, and I said, God, how do I help Tom? Because I know I can. And God gave me the idea, Regina, to take all of my ideas about marketing and put them in a book. And so I wrote my first book. It's called On Marketing, back in 2013.
Wow.
And I took that book, then I would call Tom, I'd set an appointment, I'd mail a copy of my book to him. Then I'd walk into his office a week later, and there it was, Regina. My book was on his desk, dog-eared, highlighted, underlined. He'd read my book. And in that meeting, he would open my book. He'd say, Michael, in your book, you said, how do you help me do that?
Yeah.
and hire me. I started gaining clients and I thought, why don't business owners create books to market themselves? That was the seed that got planted that has grown into Paperback Expert. We work with thought leaders, experts, attorneys, financial advisor, you name it. If you're in a high trust industry and you're a thought leader, we'll help you create your book without writing a word. We'll get it done in 6 months or less, make you a best-selling author, and then teach you actually how to use your book to gain clients.
Yeah.
That's all guaranteed. That's what we do.
That's awesome. And there is nothing like having a bestseller book to increase your credibility and authority.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's wonderful.
That's my bad.
Say that again, Asha.
I'm saying congratulations, Michael. That's absolutely fantastic and very engaging story. So we love that.
Indeed.
It's been a wild ride, but it's been lots of fun.
That's awesome. Very good. And Tom, will you please share a bit about your journey and who you're serving and why that's important?
Yeah, I will, but I'd like to start first of all by just saying hello, Michael, and what a great presentation. And remind me next time that we're on a panel together, let me go first because you are a tough act to follow. But I will vouch for Michael by showing you this, which is my Amazon international bestseller, 7 categories. It's called Story Power Marketing. Paperback Expert Press published the book, helped me get it to where it is, and everything that Michael said about publishing a book is true. I'm living that right now, and thank you for that, Michael. So my story begins back in 2001. I founded an email service provider company. Email service providers are the companies that give you the software to create, deliver, and track email campaigns. And that was super early in the game, 2001.
Yes.
Most people had not heard of email marketing, much less tried it. So we had a lot of clients who were using our software and coming to us and saying, oh, this is really cool. Send a bunch of emails, track who opened them, follow up with them, sell us a list. We'd say, no, we're not gonna sell you a list. You're gonna build a list.
Exactly.
Build a list? What is build a list? And all of a sudden we decided that we were going to build a marketing agency around the software to help our clients with things like list building, websites, landing pages, lead magnets, lead generation, offline and online. And we ran this software company and the agency around it for 19 years and learned a lot about what works and what doesn't in marketing, especially for the clientele I now serve, experts, people who package their expertise for sale to serve clients. That could be a coach, that could be a consultant, that could be a professional service provider like a financial advisor who are being paid for what they know. But here's the thing that happens with so many business leaders, especially experts, when they try to market their business. When things aren't going well, they will first chase the shiny tech squirrel. I need a better machine. I need a fancier piece of software.
Yeah.
Or they'll chase the shiny tactic. Teach me a trickier funnel. I need to know a new trick. Or they'll chase the shinier tactician. I need a better consultant. What they won't do is look in the mirror and say, well, maybe the reason that my marketing is not going so well is that my content kind of stinks, that I'm boring people. And this is especially true for those experts because they get paid for what they know. So when they put content out, they're very prone to just dishing out some information.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the difference between a Roth IRA and a traditional IRA. Now, fall at my feet and hire me. Or here's 5 tips to delegate more effectively. And that's not how it works. In order to break through and get noticed and be the standout in your niche, the humans who hire in your niche, you have to create content that is not just informative. It has to be entertaining. And in the years that I was building my agency, we began to really focus on this. And in 2019, when I sold the software company to a great company called Benchmark Email and continued working with clients on content, we started Story Power Marketing. And the promise of Story Power Marketing is to transform your content from information only, blah, 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 boring, prospect repelling stuff to captivating, entertaining, story powered, profit generating content. That's the promise of Story Power Marketing. And the second chapter, and I'll try to make this brief since I've already rambled for a bit, is after I started Story Power, so many of my clients were doing just what I promised: creating better emails, creating better video scripts, creating better presentation decks, but they were not implementing them because they were getting stuck on the technology. I had sold my technology company and thought, whew, I'm out of that business now. But then I realized that the reason I didn't like that business by the time I sold it is because I was responsible for building the technology. And by the time 2019 rolled around, my life in that business was talking to developers and saying, I want the software to do this, 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 and this. And the developers would say to me, oh, awesome ideas, Tom. We'll give you this in 10 months. I was like, this is frustrating. But what I did after starting Story Power and after seeing my clients fail to implement because tech was getting in the way, I licensed and customized a third-party application. I'm not responsible for building it. I'm responsible for customizing it. I'm responsible for onboarding my clients and teaching them how to use it and building my framework into it. And we launched that company called Implementum. Think implement and momentum all mushed together. We launched Implementum a year after we launched Story Power. And now the two things work in tandem. The storytelling plus the tech, so that you can get that captivating information in front of the right people at the right time without the tech headache.
I love it. I love it. I don't think I ever knew quite that much about that, Tom.
When we first met, I don't think Implementum was around.
Was around yet.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. Fascinating. Asha, comments?
Well, two things that I have to share. First and foremost, we just had a conversation this morning with Regina about having a great ideas, right? All the coaches, consultants, or whatnot, they have phenomenal ideas, 300 ideas to just grow your business and accelerate and whatnot, and good luck. And a business owner is stating, okay, great, but who's going to help me implement or execute on that? Because the first and foremost, results and the ROI, it's actually the language that Regina and myself, we understand so well, because all business owners need that. Ideas are absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
But they are only as valuable as the ROI actually, and because after the effort of implementing everything. And that's number one. So 100% agree. I loved your presentations, and I absolutely adore how you both shared a story about how you started, what was the result. It was all in one. So absolutely phenomenal, gentlemen. And number two, I got inspired. Here we go. Ta-da!
There it is.
Well, Ignite Your Life. It was 2015, I believe, with one of my absolutely amazing, I will say, mentors when I was growing up, Brian Tracy, that in San Diego, when I moved there 25 years ago, it turns out to be my neighbor. Well, not neighbor across the street, but very close neighbor. And we had this pleasure to write a book together. I got to contribute, and just to share how powerful is that when you know how to execute on that, right? So immediately I was recognized because that was a bestseller in 2016 with sales and marketing and leadership, of course, because Brian Tracy is the icon of the leadership and sales, as we all know. And 2016, 2017, right away, Forbes magazine reached out to me that they've recognized me as one of the top business consultants in America, right? So that's how my adventure started there. And speaking at prestigious universities like Harvard, Yale, and whatnot, it just became my regular adventure, so to speak. So it's not what we do really, but how do we take it away from there? So that's exactly what Tom and Michael mentioned.
exactly.
All our efforts are absolutely valuable only when we get the results we really want for our business. Right, gentlemen?
That's right. Yeah,
That's what it's
that's
about.
right.
And we do
I'll
that through
share.
serving. Yeah, go ahead, Tom. We do that through serving, and what a great way to serve and to say, have a copy of my book, read it,
Yeah.
and get to know me. So, Tom.
Yeah, so Michael and I have a good mutual friend, a guy named Vance Morris. And Vance Morris has a slogan that goes at the bottom of every one of his emails. And I've done some work with Vance, and he sent to me this, which sits on the bulletin board directly behind me. You
Love
won't
it.
profit unless you implement.
You implement.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Thus we have implementum.
thus we have implementum, and we have the systems that Michael has in place to
Right.
get, I want to write a book is a nice idea.
Yeah.
Right.
But what are you
Now
going to do with it?
How are you going to get it done?
Yeah. How are you going to get it done, and how are you going to make it pay off? Because so many times I think when we come in as new authors, we're thinking, oh, so-and-so's made all of this money from their book, and they think it's from the sale of the book, but it's really not, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I will say it's having a book and great value in it is basically our business card, right?
100%.
Like, let's say people think, oh, I'm going to add, lots of titles around, PhDs and this. I have nothing against titles. I am a lifelong learner and I absolutely love education. But really, the title just itself, it won't provide anything for you, right?
Right.
Because for your clients, they're like, okay, well, good for you. And so what's in it for me, really?
It is.
How my life and my business will change with your titles or whatever we have.
Yep.
So let's dive in deeper into, I think, this juicy topic, how really we can completely change and accelerate growth of our clients out there.
Yeah.
Regina.
Yeah. Yes. So I think a little directional change here from where we're going to go is a good idea, because there's so much value in what we're talking about here, and how you get your message out there, how you use that book as a tool. So Michael, let's defer to you for a moment, because this is your specialty in terms of getting that book out there. And we talked about how you get customers with it, but how do you do that?
Yeah, well,
customers with your book.
It's great. Yeah,
so many ways. A little bit, but give us some more.
Yeah, so many ways, but it really does start back with what Tom was saying. It's a story. Okay, stories carry the day in a book, in a movie, in a podcast, and it doesn't matter. And so we always start with the author's story. Why do you do what you do, right? We want to weave that into the beginning, because here's the marketing philosophy that I work on. People buy who you are more than what you do.
Yes.
That is a story. So as you have your Amazon best-selling book, how are you going to use it to engage your audience? Well, how about, let's just go really simple. How about putting it on your website? Get a free copy of my book and allow people to download a free PDF copy of your book, name, email, whatever. to get them on your list. Tom, I think that's building the list. Tom, what you talked about earlier.
I think we heard that earlier,
I
didn't we?
think so. And now, okay, but think about this. Now what happens? Well, you should deliver a series of emails. Oh, you wrote a book that has 13 chapters? Well, maybe there are 13 emails there, each story-based, each connecting at a deeper level, each saying, hey, Regina, when you're ready, you can schedule a conversation with me and we will talk about your unique situation.
Yep.
Love it.
That's just one. Yep. Okay. How about one more and then I'll shut up because I can go on forever. How about going old school and having a copy of your book when you have a happy client? So let's think of let's think an estate planning attorney.
Okay.
They have their book. They just finished your estate plan, Regina. They delivered it to you. You're thrilled. It's everything that you want to protect your family. Regina, would you do me a favor? And you're always going to say yes because you're happy with them, right? You say, Regina, you probably don't know this, but most of our clients don't come through all the advertising you see us doing. They come from the recommendation of a trusted friend.
Right.
Would you do me a favor? Would you take 4 or 5 copies of my book, Regina? And in the next week or month, as you're just talking with people and this topic comes up about how we helped you really protect your family, would you do me a favor and just hand them a copy of my book and say, this is the person I trust. You should read their book.
Love that. I love that.
We focus so much in business on new. I need more leads, more new.
Yeah.
And we don't engage our clients or the database that we've built of people who were not ready to buy from us 3 months ago, 6 months ago. They're dormant. They're waiting for an excuse.
Yeah.
Offer them a copy of your book. So
Love
I'm
that.
going to stop there. I could go on, but those are 2 simple ways.
Offer them a copy of the book and then follow up. You know, Michael, it's such a key principle that you're getting at. And the idea, the headline here is the profit is in the follow-up. Anyone who writes a book and believes that the end game is to sell the book. Oh, I sold the book. Somebody downloaded my free copy. Now they know me. Now they'll hire me. No, it's just the beginning.
Yeah.
And the
you just got your
follow-up
toe in
emails,
the door.
yeah, the follow-up emails that you were talking about are so critical. When somebody goes to your website and gets your book, they have in effect given you permission to build a relationship with you. They've said, I'm interested in you. I'm interested in what you have to say. And now you have an opportunity to tell them more about you, share with them more of your expertise, give them more value. And you're not a pitchy pest when you're doing that.
Right.
You're building that relationship. You know, this morning I wrote an email about Groupon. Groupon's still around, but it's not what it was when it first came out 10, 15 years ago.
Right.
And those were the days when I was running my email company and I worked with a lot of restaurants and brick and mortar businesses, and they had love-hate relationships with Groupon. And the ones who really griped about Groupon looked at Groupon as, okay, I put out a 50% off a large pizza deal and I get flooded with 3,000 leads. Give me leads. They're free, even though you're probably losing money on the 50% pizza. And then what do? They pray and hope that those 3,000 people like the pizza enough that they come back. And then they gripe because it was a hassle. We didn't make as much money as I thought. And then after the deal was done, business went back to where it was. Well, how many of those 3,000 people did you get their email address? Ask them to join the birthday club, offer them a free appetizer, whatever it is? None. Okay. Well, if you don't find strategic ways to turn a lead into a family member, a subscriber, a member of your community, then you're missing the opportunity to follow up, and the profit is in the follow-up.
Yeah. Well said.
Absolutely.
So amazing, gentlemen. I think the first and foremost also conclusion from the wisdom that you just shared is that the value that we offer, it's a journey, right? We talk about buyer's journey, and indeed it is. Their journey doesn't end with the first sale, with the first offer, right?
Yep.
But I think we also forget that their journey is also our journey, the provider journey, whatever we provide, whether it's service or a product, right? We create that valuable relationship in order to create loyalty, to create retention, to create, ongoing profits that will take eventually to passive income when we wise, in a way how we do it. But that's the sustainable business we are talking about, that I think it's a game changer. And Tom and Michael, you're right, a lot of business owners getting just swayed with the initial idea, and don't have actual detailed plan how to participate in every single facet of the buyer's journey and their own journey to loyalty, retention, and sustainable profits, right?
100%. And I guess that's one of the beautiful things, I'm biased, I know, about having a book is Tom now. I mean, we just launched his book. He just became a #1 international best-selling author, right? He's got a dozen or so chapters. Tom has enough content in his library right there to do posts on social media, engagement on social medias, to do webinars, to do speaking, to do, you name it. All Tom has to do is go to his book, which ties in exactly to what he teaches in Story Power Marketing. And you don't have to sit in front of a blank screen and think something up. You compile it. He's already compiled it, and he can go out and engage an audience with and Tom's a master storyteller and a story weaver. Because and why is story so important? Because it's more interesting than what you're currently thinking about.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's not rocket science, folks.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not rocket science.
It's not.
You're absolutely right.
I could tell you, I could sit here and tell you the story of Tom's holy shoes. He has holy shoes. We're not talking about his holy shoes like Moses took off his sandals, right? We could talk about his dog and the walk we took with his dog one day, or where Melissa works, or why his ceiling caved in on him one day. These are all stories that you're going, whoa, tell me more. And Tom has the ability to help you weave all those stories into a great marketing message that draws your client, your prospect, one step closer to you. Yeah. And those stories are all contained in his book.
Yeah, and Michael, you're making a great point in noting that in the content that I put out there, I'm a character in these stories often. My dog, Moose, my crazy doodle, my wife, Melissa, my daughter, Maddie, my son, Jake, all sorts of people. But the center of attention, this goes back to something Asha said, is the prospect. We have 3 core principles in Story Power Marketing that I outlined in this book. And the first one is keep the focus on prospects' emotional journeys. If your story doesn't resonate with them, then it's just, drunk uncle babbling on about, his time in the war, whatever. Just irrelevant anecdote. Irrelevant anecdotes are easy to spout out. But
indeed. And
story, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, so in terms of that, and knowing that most of us are not great storytellers, and that this is a challenge that most businesses face, even if they may not recognize it, which most probably don't recognize that story is what they need and that they're no good at it, right?
Yeah.
What is it costing them in their business to not figure this out and do something about it? and have that prospect approach and educate those prospects through storytelling. What's the cost, bottom line, to businesses to not do this?
Well, I'll answer that quickly, but I want to get back and slightly challenge this notion that we're not good at storytelling.
Well, we think we're not.
We think we're not. So yeah, I'll answer what is it costing you? What it's costing you is all of the time and all of the energy and all of the blood and sweat and tears that you spend in front of screens, dreaming up yet another email, yet another post. It feels hard. It feels like you're in a marketing maze. You don't know, is it working and is it not? And probably if you're not weaving story and entertainment into your content, it isn't working. And so you're just throwing spaghetti against the wall, hoping it will stick, and it's not. Okay. Right. So it's costing you a lot. Failed time and effort, lost opportunity to transform leads into warm prospects and into clients. And your prospects are tuning out and moving on and choosing the next person over, and your business isn't growing. That's the cost. Now, back to this idea of this is so hard. It's hard because people assume that this is some kind of magical and mystical art. Right. They sit in front of a blank screen, hoping that the muse will strike, hoping that the creative well will flow. And the beauty of this is that it doesn't have to be so hard. It's not a magical and mystical art. There's a great copywriter, a guy named Eugene Schwartz, who was one of the most prolific and successful copywriters of the 20th century. He never suffered from writer's block. And he has a great line where he says, copy is not written, copy is assembled. And what we try to do is teach you that, look, if you really dive deep and understand what makes your prospects tick, what's their before and what's their after, what journey do they want to take? If you gather the building blocks, the pieces that go into the story is not just the creative well, and I'm just gonna pour out some mystical magical story. No, it's an act of assembly. Gather the building blocks and put them in the right structure. Absolutely. It can be done easily and consistently if you learn how to do it.
Beautiful.
Michael? Would you
I was going to put a dollar amount on it just off the top of my head is, hundreds of thousands of dollars, honestly, because they're chasing the next shiny object, hoping that's their savior, and that it's not. And they're going to get disappointed, and they just spent a ton of money, a ton of time, and now they're back to square one with less money, less time going, now what do I do? Oh, another shiny object. Look what Bartho just brought out. Let me buy that. No, you need to own it yourself. Stop looking for an outside savior.
Yep.
Look in the mirror. Go ahead.
Yep. I was going to say, no offense to the guy who coined this phrase, but it's not just one funnel that's going to save you. If you don't have your stories and can't do this in a way that's captivating and compelling and client attracting, one more funnel, a fancier piece of technology, whatever, ain't going to save you.
And okay, I'm going to jump in here real quick because I think this is something that kills a lot of business owners is they look to the big dogs, right? They look to the Russell Brunsons and the Tony Robbinses and the Brian Tracys, and they're going, oh, that's what I'm going to be. And what they don't see is the back end machine that they have spent the last decade building. And all we see is the front end. It's kind of like social media. Everybody's beautiful and happy.
Yeah.
And it's not reality, folks. How about being content with where you are, not complacent, but being content and building a valuable business to your audience, getting to know them and allowing them to know you. You do that and your business expands organically. Yes, you're going to use some paid advertising and do some things, but stop looking at and envying all of the big dogs. Be yourself. Tell your story and engage your audience, and you're going to be way more profitable. It's going to be way more fun.
Yeah.
You know, 100% agreed. And something what Brian Tracy always was saying and pointing out was, I remember him opening his presentation with shocking statement, which is 97% of people will never achieve success, will, you know, never make the dreams coming true. Do you want to know why? Well, yeah, hello. Yes, I do want to know why. And basically, he was saying that we all have the same capabilities and we all can learn everything what he said I've achieved, I possess right now, I developed, I learned. This is all learnable skills, but they're going to be people that will be able to learn it, be willing to do that. There will be people that will find an excuses, you know, and lots of excuses. We humans, we are brilliant like that. So that's number one, right? To remember this. And I absolutely adore that he was always so humble and always learning, always listening to others, but always pointing out what can I learn today that I can implement into my business for the benefit of my clients, because it has to be a purpose. It's not about our ego. Oh, I know this or this, right? So number one. Number two, like Michael and Tom already said, it's not really about us. This is the solopreneur. It's all about us. This is the ego that is talking. If we want to have a business, we have to allow to create all the systems in place, the teams behind that, right? Behind the success, because only then, sure, you can be the face of an amazing company, happy face, speaking on stages. But there is a long journey taking you to that point, right? And people see only the tip of the iceberg, right? They don't see, or maybe they are not willing to build up systems or hire great experts that can help them do that and accelerate the process, right? And have the team supporting them. And I love, Michael, that you wanted to put the number, the cost, right? Because think about this. I love numbers. We always talk numbers because it's very necessary. Money will really make it tangible for people. Let's say that your service will be $10,000 a year or $10,000 a month per one client, right? Depends on the service or product we have. Well, let's say that you just miss out on one client a month.
Yeah.
How many you missing out a month? A month has 30 days. So let's just say that you missed out on one client.
Yep.
Right? So you just missed out on either hundreds of dollars, right? 100,000, $1 million that you could have only if you really focused on the implementation and get the one client a month.
Yeah.
I love that, Asha. And it got me back to the book question. So I have seen authors, actually big time authors, not just Amazon best-selling authors, but New York Times and Wall Street Journal authors who on their website, they have a form that says download the first chapter of my book or even get a PDF copy of my book. And then you do that and crickets after that. Thanks. Here's the link to the thing that you downloaded. And right. And those people, if they engaged, as Michael was talking about, followed up and implemented with all of those people, thousands of people probably who download that book, how many of them are going to turn into clients who are thousands of dollars a year, hundreds of thousands of dollars a year? I'm about to launch a campaign where we offer the paperback version of my book free plus shipping. And as part of that campaign, we offer a series of small bonuses and upsells. And then we have a set of follow-up emails that will follow that. And we already have calculated, here's how much it's going to cost to drive traffic to that page. Here's what we expect to spend for every lead. And here's how many of those people who pay the $5.95 or the $7.95 for shipping, here's how many of them we expect to schedule an appointment with me.
Yeah.
And here's how many of those appointments we expect to turn into clients. And
Right.
so we have a plan to implement. And if I just offered that book and said, great, your book's coming in the mail, thank you, good night, hundreds of thousands of dollars. You're right,
A
Michael.
loss.
Mhm.
Yeah.
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 I think that's so critically important what you're saying there, Tom.
Yeah.
It comes back to that piece of implementation, but it also comes back to analytics.
Yeah.
And there's so many elements of a successful business, right? And just like we're talking about getting a book out here today, a book is wonderful, but it's not the end all. It's a tool. It's part of our tool bag, our toolkit. Right?
That's right. And knowing your numbers is so critical. I realized as we were talking about implementing, that I held up this thing that is Vance Morris's slogan, but I didn't say it out loud. So for the people who are listening but not watching, let me read it. It says, "You won't profit unless you implement. You won't profit unless you implement." That's what we're talking about. And knowing the numbers. So, yeah.
Which is great. It goes back to what Asha said about Brian Tracy, right?
Yeah.
You can learn it, but if you don't implement it, you'll be part of the 97% instead of the 3%. It's just, and if you don't know how to do it, find somebody, right? Dan Sullivan wrote "Who Not How." Well, great. Go to Tom. If you don't know, if tech scares you, go to Tom. He's got it worked out. It's super simple. It's find people. And I think that's one of the other things that really slows business down is we have this pride issue that I have to do it all myself. That's about the dumbest thing I ever heard.
Yep.
But Michael, it's then in this situation, it's not a business, Remember the quadrant, the cash flow quadrant, right, of Robert Kiyosaki? I love the guy. I had a chance to be introduced to him one of the times, and I fell in love with all his books. But I always remember the quadrant. And, people think, okay, I have a job. I'm outside of that job. I own a business. And they are the solopreneurs, right? Well, they don't own the business. They actually own the job, or job owns them, because they're only one person. Maybe if they haven't even a team, if they don't have systems in place, if they don't have implement, they still in the 97% that Brian Tracy is talking about. Right? Struggle because they are led by ego, by self-imposed limitations, versus they don't see the bigger picture, or maybe they think too small, right? So there are so many issues we can talk about, but I would love to talk a little bit more about the top challenges maybe that you either experienced in your own business growth, right? As the young businessman, one of the days, or maybe you really see at your client's journey, right? What are maybe self-imposed limitations, or what do you see are the top 3 challenges or roadblocks you are dealing with and you are able to overcome successfully, or you can see that your clients or people out there, maybe your prospects, are really struggling with?
I think you were just beginning to get at the one that I put at the top of my list in my own journey, and that I see with my clients. And that is the greatest challenge is documenting and implementing systems and processes so that you can evolve from having a job in the business that you own but not really, to being truly a business owner and truly a CEO. And so, Asha, I think you're right that there's ego involved in it. But in my own experience also, you get to a point where you realize, oh, I need to hand balls off to other people. And then the sensation is, that's going to take me too much time. I'm too busy. I'll just do it myself. And so you just keep doing it yourself, and you're still on the hamster wheel, but you have to commit to implement the steps necessary to build an organization, to put other names in the org chart boxes, because most solopreneurs, when they start a business, their name is in every box. And unless and until they strategically determine, all right, I'm going to put a different name in this box. Here are the steps I need to take to do it. Okay. And in describing it this way, one box at a time, I'm implying a system. Develop a system for delegation. Don't just say, today I work too hard, tomorrow I'm going to have the thing delegated out. If that's your dream and you have no process for doing it, you'll never get there. But if you focus on one box at a time and then document the systems and processes that are necessary to then hire and delegate, you can get there.
And I was, can you all hear me okay? I was having some mic issues a moment ago.
Yep.
I would say even that we got to take it a step further back than that, Tom. How many of them have even thought of an org chart?
Yeah.
And the future positions in their company.
All right. So I'm going to jump in here because that launches me to right where I was going. Number one, one of the first books I read probably before my entrepreneurial journey was The E-Myth.
Yeah.
Love that.
Okay. We all go, yeah. But you know how many people haven't read that book?
Yeah.
Or have read it but not implemented. Yeah.
Yes. So go back to The E-Myth, and we're talking about a book that an expert wrote, right? Go back and read it and implement it, number one. Number two, another book that an expert wrote that has impacted my life greatly that I recommend to everybody. The title is The Road Less Stupid. The author is Keith Cunningham. Keith has earned and lost and earned more money than all of us combined will ever see in our lives. Okay.
Wow.
It's a process. It's a book around a 1 hour a week time that the CEO needs to invest thinking about your business.
Yes.
And I think what most business owners never do is stop, block out all the noise, and think about one issue for 40 minutes to come up with some solutions. We are always looking out, listening. We're too harried. We're too busy. No, stop, think. So The Road Less Stupid by Keith Cunningham. Go buy it.
I will.
And consume it multiple times. It will change your life.
And then the magic word of the day, implement, right?
Implement.
How many times have we said that word today?
But I'm so glad that you brought up Gerber and the E-Myth, Michael, because what you're talking about that Cunningham's discussing, the 45 minutes of focus, that's what Gerber calls working on your business, not 100%. In your business.
Yes.
And then when you make that commitment to spend more time working on your business, spend less time in the business, you have to understand the difference before you implement, the difference between delegation and abdication. So, the idea, so many entrepreneurs say, oh, okay, I'm going to solve this problem. They go to VAs or us and they hire a VA and they then say, here's the crap on my plate that I don't want to do anymore. Now go do this.
Right.
They haven't documented systems. They haven't trained the person. They've set that person up for failure. And then they decide, delegation doesn't work. Well, they didn't delegate, they abdicated, and they just gave up responsibility without empowering somebody to be responsible for it. It's such a key thing. So we have 2 books we have to read now, Michael.
That's right.
We have to read Gerber. We have to read Cunningham, and then we have to read DeLon, and we have to read Ruwitch also.
Ruwitch, but what? And let me just put this in here from a book publisher perspective.
Yeah.
When did Gerber published that book? How many years has that book been a valuable asset to hundreds of thousands of people?
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's what happens when you become a published author,
Right.
right? Dr. Asha, you created that book a few years ago, and dare I say, you're probably still using it.
Absolutely.
Books
It's a
have,
gift that keeps on giving, right?
yeah, a book has shelf life. It's going to be one of the assets that you create in your business that you'll be using for years
Exactly.
to engage people, share with them your stories, and serve them well so that your business will accelerate because you'll have traction. That's what this is all about.
Yes,
Absolutely.
absolutely. I love that. I absolutely love what, and 100% in agreement. I think Regina and myself is with you. And I love the delegation versus abdication. I had to write it down because this is so brilliant. I remember back in the days when I also had my marketing agency. That was so much fun to help all the entrepreneurs. But that was the issue. They all wanted to abdicate. They think they're delegating, but they all wanted to just, your sales funnel has to do all the automation for me and whatnot. So they didn't want the participation even, where this is a huge issue because we need to be engaged in every single step of that journey with the prospect, with later on the client, right?
That's right.
So I love that you distinguish that delegation, abdication. And it's so true about working in your business versus on your business. Even in the first session with any of my future clients, I have them commit to working not only in their business, but on their business, either with me or with themselves. But we go the step ahead of, even because we schedule it in their weekly calendar. Okay, because someday is not a date, exactly date, right? So back to the implementation. So if we really schedule the time, even if it's just the 1 hour a week, it's a humongous difference in our right.
Absolutely. Speaking of scheduling time, we are about out of time, gentlemen. This has been so wonderful. I think we could go on for some time yet, but we are coming to the end of our time together. I'd like to give you each a little time to share. I know that you both have a free offer for our listeners. And so, Tom, we're going to let you have the top of the list this time. We'll let Michael bring up the balance of it. But Tom,
all right,
share with us what your free offer is for our listeners.
Well, go figure. I'm going to share with you a copy of my book.
Wow, we did not expect that.
How about that? So this again is the book. It's called Story Power Marketing: The Proven Methods to Create Client Attracting, Profit Generating Content Without Getting Stuck. Proven methods to create client attracting, profit generating content without getting stuck. And if you go to this address, you can get a free PDF copy of the book. The address is yourgiftfromtom.com/grail, GRAIL. Yourgiftfromtom.com/grail. And what you'll see is a little description of the book and a form. You enter your name, you enter your email, and then I will follow up. It's just part of what I do.
Awesome.
And I promise that when I follow up, you're going to get an extraordinary amount of value from the interaction. And if you only want the book and you don't want to hear from me again, it's super easy to say, hey, knock it off, Tom. I don't want to hear from you again. So yourgiftfromtom.com/grail. And then storypowermarketing.com is where you can go find out more about my biz, connect with me. You can email me directly, tom@storypowermarketing.com. I'm happy to hear from you. I don't screen those with a virtual assistant who is going to reply with some stock message. I'll reply directly to you.
Awesome.
So
Tom,
Thank
would
you
you
both.
pop that into the private chat and we'll put it out into the comments, both of those links?
Of course,
Thank you
yeah.
so much.
If I can
Appreciate
find the
that.
private chat, let's see. Oh, here it is.
Right-hand side.
It's private. That's why you can't find it.
If you actually can see the comments one, you can just post it right into comments.
Nah, I
but
got it.
many
I found it.
Some folks can't. So awesome. So folks, be sure and take him up on that. Michael, tell us about your free gift for our listeners.
Yeah, so I'm like Tom. I'm offering a book. It's not my book, although you can find my book at the same address. We created a lead magnet, is what it is. So a lot of business owners talk about lead magnets. They don't know what to do it. We have a whole done for you process to create a lead magnet. I'm going to let you experience one because this is what we call the profitable book formula. We get a lot of business owners going, well, how do I make money with my book? Or how do I get it done? It's like, so we created a lead magnet on our website. It's called the Profitable Book Formula. And you can just download it. And just like Tom, if you don't want to hear from me, opt out. That's fine. But I bet if you hang around me or Tom for a few emails, you're going to like the style because we both write in story form.
Yes.
And it's going to be very different from what you've ever experienced. So I invite you to opt into both of ours and compare our email follow-up systems because you're going to really like it.
I love it. I love it.
But the profitable book formula, you can find it at paperbackexpert.com.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to go get that. I'm going to go get both of those.
It's great. I love competing with Tom.
So,
he's great.
Michael, will you go ahead and put yours in there as well?
And Regina, would you share what we are inviting our guests to?
Yes, and we do actually, yeah, I can do that. So I was going to say we've got our outro there we could use, but we'll talk about it. So we have, Asha and I are the co-founders of the CEO Holy Grail. And the CEO Holy Grail encompasses a lot of the things that we've talked about today. Getting those systems in place, getting your messaging right, having your marketing system in place, all those things that we are spending money on by not doing what we need to be doing. And as Michael put a price tag on it earlier, the hundreds of thousands of dollars that we're either leaving on the table or we are going out of business because we're not able to secure the clients that we need and to bring the value that we set out to bring to the world through our businesses. We have so much to offer, each of us. And so it's important that we that we seek the help that's going to allow us to expand our knowledge in the areas that we don't know, just like Tom and Michael have been talking about today, things that a lot of business owners don't know about telling their story, about getting their book out there. There are so many things that as business owners, we've not been taught. One of the things I loved about the E-Myth, you brought up the E-Myth, Michael, and the E-Myth Revisited. And by the way, I know I read the E-Myth Revisited before 2009, well before that. And so it's been around for a while, and I quote from it frequently. It's one of my go-tos.
Absolutely.
So yeah, we have first an opportunity for CEOs to come on to our show, as Michael and Tom have come today, to come and be on the podcast, share your knowledge with the world, share whatever it is that free thing that you can bring, as Michael and Tom have done. But then we also have a program called the Expert Solutions. My brain preview. Thank you. My brain I always have to say ESP, Expert Solutions Preview, where we bring together. Say that again.
Executive Solutions
Preview, where we bring together CEOs and other executives to help them figure out how to put these things in place in their companies. It's private invitation only, limited number of people in the group. And we do these once a month where we can share with you. We learn from you first what your challenges are, and then we bring some solutions into that executive solutions preview to help you move forward in your business. So, Asha?
And another, because we got a really big need also from another type of business. So we decided to also add a bootcamp of a workshop, if you will, that is really profitability oriented, right? Based on the top challenges that the business owners are experiencing. We will have hot seats for every business that is participating to resolve their top issue, maybe one, maybe two, depends on the situation, on the spot. So I think those are very valuable, time efficient two invitations that we have for you today, and we are looking forward to connect with all of you, dear business owners and corporate owners and CEOs and executives, to really follow up and share more.
Very good. Michael, Tom, thank you again, both of you, so much for being here. You've added great value to the show, and we truly appreciate it. And hopefully we've changed some lives today as people implement the things that you've shared. And I love the word of the day, Tom, implement.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Regina. Thank you, Asha. I agree. I hope that people are inspired to get out there and implement.
Absolutely. It's been fun. Thanks for having me.
In the end, I just want to say that you both add so much value and shared your wisdom with such a charisma, with such a charm, gentlemen, that it's so rare to see, really, with such an ease and grace. So we are really grateful for you visiting with us today.
Thank you. That's very kind of you.
Thank you. And we're going to play our... We conclude this episode of the CEO Holy Grail podcast. We extend our deepest gratitude to each and every one of you for joining us on this enlightening journey. Your unwavering support and engagement inspire us to continue delivering valuable insights and perspectives to CEOs and entrepreneurs worldwide. We'd like to take a moment to express our heartfelt appreciation to all of our esteemed guests, whose expertise and wisdom have enriched our discussions and provided invaluable insights. We're deeply grateful for their generosity in sharing their knowledge and experiences with our audience. If you have found value in this episode and wish to stay connected, we invite you to like, subscribe, and share the CEO Holy Grail podcast. By doing so, you'll ensure that you never miss an episode, and you'll help us reach a wider audience of aspiring leaders and industry professionals who can benefit from the knowledge and inspiration we provide. If you wish to explore the exclusive Executive Solutions preview, where you can gain further insights into our comprehensive program designed to empower CEOs and entrepreneurs in their pursuit of success, you may contact us directly at the link below. Our team is ready to assist you and provide personalized guidance tailored to your unique needs and aspirations. To schedule a one-on-one appointment, please visit our calendar through the link below and book a time convenient for you. Once again, we express our deepest appreciation for your continued support and participation in the CEO Holy Grail podcast. Your engagement and feedback drive us to deliver thought-provoking content that empowers CEOs and entrepreneurs on their paths to excellence. Together, let us continue to explore the realms of leadership, innovation, and success. Thank you for joining us, and until next time, may your journey to the CEO Holy Grail be filled with growth, fulfillment, and extraordinary achievements.